Evening, everybody. How you all doing? Great to have you on, our entrepreneurial hangout this week. And Marlon, how many people do you know how many people have never been on this call? Maybe if I could just ask those of you that have never been on this call, if you just type into the chat box, that'll be great. So those of you that have never been on, welcome. Great to see you here. And those of you that are back again, well, welcome back. And really looking forward to tonight because we're going to be talking a little bit around strategic planning and developing a strategic plan. So first time, Andrew, welcome, Andrew. Munya, Les, Megan, John B, welcome to all of you. Great having you on here. Lebo. So welcome. So as Marlon said, I really like being interactive. So as we're going through the process, if there's something that you want to question, you want to ask a question around, you're unsure of, just put up your hand or type it in the box, and I will do my best to answer that. So how many of you have a very clear plan for 2019? I mean, a really clear plan. You know what you want to get out of this year. It's written down. It's there. Okay, so one. Anyone else? Megan, two. Rough draft. Barbara. So in my experience in the 25 odd years that I've been in business, and especially sort of the last 12 years that I've been working with entrepreneurs, is many entrepreneurs have an idea of what they want to achieve, start the beginning of the year with a whole lot of things that they want to do, get too busy, and don't actually put it down and get focused. And we end up getting to the end of a year saying, well, I'll get it done next year. So, in terms of, for example, Barbara and Andrew say rough draft. A lot of times that's where I see people operate from. Now, if you're like me, there's a couple of reasons. One, I don't like a lot of complexity in my life. I'm not a huge believer in 25-page business plans. I'm a big believer in keeping things really simple. A couple of reasons why you want to keep them simple. One, it's easy for you to understand. Two, it's easy for you to sell and explain to other people. And three, it makes it a lot easier to create leverage and duplication. So, in terms of that, it's about really keeping it simple. The other side is when it's very complex, it takes a lot of work to do. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person I like to do and achieve more by doing less. So I'm going to take you through a process. Some of you might have come across it before. I'll be surprised if some of you haven't. It's a process that I was introduced to about 12 years ago when I first started working with Blair Singer, and really it's developing a one-page strategic plan. A strategic plan, like it says, it fits on one page that you can view, that you can utilize easily to see exactly where you're going. So tonight I'm going to spend an hour taking you through sort of the key components of the first part of the plan to get you going. Then what I'll do is I'll give you the website that you can go and get more information on and learn it. The material that I'm going to take you through is not mine. It comes from a guy called Vern Harnish from a business called Gazelles. I've been using this, as I said, for over 10 years. It was introduced to me by Blair Singer when I first started working with Blair. And I've just found it such a powerful tool. I've introduced it to my team. At the beginning of this year, I got a whole Uncovering Greatness team around, and I took them through the strategic plan, and a number of them were really excited about what you can get out of it. So any questions around strategic planning, any comments before I go on? So just if anyone is going to type in or have any questions, just, what came to mind is when I was sitting here now waiting for those questions is, a couple of times so Abdullah, what you'll see is that this one page will give you clarity. So, the simpler you can distill your thinking, the more clarity you get, the more focused you can get. So my experience is that this will give you a lot of clarity. It gets rid of all the clutter, and you learn to focus on the key drivers that actually drive your business. What I see in a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners, is they get too cluttered with too many things that they think they need to do, and end up getting too busy and running as Robert Kiyosaki would call it, a busyness and not a business, rather than getting really focused on the core issues of the business. And that's what this will develop. So just now what I was saying was, people have asked me before, Barry, you've had a lot of experience in business. Why don't you, for example, develop your own strategic plan? And I operate out of this mindset. When I find things that work, and they work really, really well, I might tweak them a little bit. But why would I really want to change them? So, if things are delivering results, I just believe in using them. I always believe in acknowledging source. It's critical, So any of you that are in here that are trainers or coaches, I think, there's so much information out there in the world. But when you find things that really work well, and you're going to teach them and show them, acknowledge source. Always acknowledge source. The reality is this: if you don't acknowledge source, somebody somewhere will come across what you're teaching, and you'll lose your credibility. So, if it's not yours, if you haven't developed it yourself, just acknowledge source. That's why I start off right up front saying, this is a great piece that I learned from Blair, that was developed by a guy called Vern Honish out of a business called Gazelles. So let's dig into this. So the first step is as Stephen Covey teaches, always begin with the end in mind. So what is it that you want to do? So we're new into 2019. This is a really, really great time for many businesses to do strategic planning, because if you're like me, my financial year comes to an end at the end of Feb. So going into March, we're going into a new financial year. So for a lot of businesses, this is a real ideal time to get your thinking right. So begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to go, and what do you want to achieve? So you create a bit of clarity. The other thing that this will take you through, as I mentioned to Abdullah on his question, is that this is a highly effective process. It is very, very focused, and it's very, very simple. So when it's focused and creates simplicity, as I said right in the beginning, it allows you to be able to teach easily. It allows you to be able to get other people to understand it, and it allows you to be able to create leverage and duplication. And in any business, that is essential to move beyond yourself as an entrepreneur. The program is designed that it's focused on long, medium, and short-term goals. So what are the goals that you want to achieve? What's the strategy that you want long, medium, and short term? And then some of the information that you'll get, and the site that I send you to, comes out of, as I said, Vern Honish from Gazelle. So there's some copyrighted information, and you can go download a number of the templates that I'll show you this evening. So any other questions before we move on? Okay, so I'm just going to kick off. This is what Vern Honish outlines is. This is just really a time frame. I just call it a time frame triangle, and what it sets up is what are the key things that you need to do. So why do you need to do what you need to do? What do you need to do? When do you need to do them? And who's going to do them? So this piece outlines those key areas. So starting right in the beginning, when you're developing this plan, the first step that we start off with is developing core values. So what are the core values in your business? So what is your business founded on? In we call it a code of honor, a set of rules that determines behaviors, a set of rules that teach us what we should and shouldn't do. So, for example, in the Bible, in the Christian faith, it's the 10 Commandments. So it's a set of rules that when you stick to those rules, they determine how you play the game. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, each one of us needs to set a set of rules for our business. And the power of rules create the environment. Rules attract people who will fit into your organization. Rules push away people who won't fit into your organization. So setting up a code of honor, a set of rules, anywhere between maybe 10 and 20 different rules will allow you to be able to start focusing on these core values. So start thinking, what are the core values that you have in your business? And pretty simply, what they should determine is how you should or should not behave. So those of you that have been around me for any period of time and been to any of my events, one thing that I always teach is results come from behaviors come from mindset comes from conditioning. So when you determine your behaviors, you start determining the results that you create. Once you start holding to the behaviors that you want, then you start shifting the mindsets in your mindset in being able to create the change that you need in your organization. So step one, core values. These are the things that we should do. These are the things that guide us when we have to make decisions. Should or should we not do it? These are the things that guide us. So I don't know, bribery. We do not pay bribes or entertain any form of illegal business. Boom. If that's one of your core values, you put that in at any stage, in any dealings. If you have to cross the line, well, it's answered. So it allows us to have that baseline. How many of you realize that many businesses do not start here? Many businesses get going, bring in people, and then at a later stage start going, oh crap, we need to start putting in some values. The business owner has his or her values, but they don't go through the business. So that's why one of the things that we say to businesses when we start working with them, the first thing that we start with is setting up a code of honor. So, and these are in the business forever. They are part of what your business is, and they carry that culture. They carry that culture forever. So at Uncovering Greatness, we have a very straight out, laid down code of honor. It was developed by me. It's based on some of the rules that I picked up when I first started working with Blair, and we have a very clear code of honor. Anyone who comes in and starts working with Uncovering Greatness, one of the first things I do is give them the code of honor, take them through it, and then discuss it from there. And pretty quickly, I'll define whether they connect to who we are or whether they don't. So step number one, you create a set of core values. So step number two, what's your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you building the business that you're building? What is the biggest reason? I understand a lot of times we start off building our business because we need to make some money and we need to pay the bills and do all those type of things. But as your business grows, and in time, when it does grow, when you create the size that you want to create, what's the bigger purpose that you're doing it for? So, and this really, it comes out of the sort of life of the leader. What's the purpose? So, it could be purpose is aligned to your mission. We call it mission. Robert Kiyosaki calls it mission. So what's your why? Why are you in business? As I said, this is determined by the leader. So, for example, the Uncovering Greatness mission is to make a positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape in South Africa and Africa, to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape in South Africa and Africa. So with that in mind, our mission predominantly is working with entrepreneurs. So a lot of my decisions are made around, does it mean if I don't necessarily impact entrepreneurs, I probably won't do the deal or do the training. So at some stage, that creates focus for me. It also attracts people to us. You know, when I speak and I talk about what our Uncovering Greatness mission is, people that want to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape in South Africa and Africa put up their hand and say, hey, how can I be part of that? So what is your mission, or what is your purpose? I'm connected to Robert Kiyosaki's mission. And that's one of the reasons why I work with him, is because I love that mission to change and make a financial impact on humanity. So to elevate, Robert's mission is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. Now, for me, that links very closely to our mission around creating a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape. Part of the role of a good entrepreneur is you have to become financially literate and financially intelligent. So, step number 2, you got to create and get clarity around your purpose. Now, my experience, this doesn't just happen overnight. Some of you might have real clarity on your purpose, but it took me a long time. I had an idea of what it was, but it's taken me a long time to really refine it and be clear on exactly what that purpose is. So I give an example. If someone was to say to me, there's an opportunity for you to move to Australia and come and train in Australia and train entrepreneurs and do what you do in Australia, I wouldn't take it. Why? Because it's not in my mission. My mission is South Africa and Africa. I'm really passionate about this continent and passionate about helping entrepreneurs create a difference in this continent. And my deep-seated belief is that the way that we can put our country and our continent right at the top is by developing entrepreneurs, but developing entrepreneurs in a very specific way. So that makes my decision. Now, does it mean I won't go and work in Australia? Not at all. If I go to Australia and do events, which I do at the moment, it's there. It serves the business. It serves entrepreneurs, but it's not a key focus in our mission. So if I had the opportunity of teaching in Australia or teaching in Kenya on the same weekend, hands down, I'd be in Kenya. Okay, so does that make sense? Any questions or comments on these first 2 areas, core values and purpose? You can either put up your hand and Marlon will unmute you if you want to ask a question, or just type into the chat box. Thanks, Debs. Making sense? Anyone else? Any other comments or questions?
Barry?
Yeah.
I like, especially around, I know I've been having conversations with people around mission and purpose. I mean, those are obviously things that kind of require either you know it, or, I mean, uncovering it kind of takes time. In terms of someone sort of getting connected to a purpose, what could be a shortcut around that in terms of just linking to your purpose, or allowing just whatever mission I'm on right now and linking that to something purposeful, and allow me to like build the strategy? Because I think at such a high sort of a level, because purpose kind of feels like a very, it's a large, it's what you're here for. And I know some people have trouble to sort of articulate it, but they kind of feel it. So how can one actually just sort of get something, link onto something, and then just start this so that they can actually fulfill the whole, in terms of this, the actual document that keeps them sort of fulfilling whatever they want to fulfill, and develop their mission and purpose as they go on?
Well, so Marlon, that's a great question, because I think a lot of people get into business and think that business is really about making money. And, I learned a very powerful thing from Robert Kiyosaki about 2 years ago. And Robert says this: you can either, and it comes out of Buckminster Fuller's teaching, you can either make money or you can make sense. When you're on purpose, when you have a mission makes sense. And when you focus on delivering and driving a purpose, money will come. Because the reality is this: the business is not all about money. We require money, and money is essential to make that business tick, because it is the money essentially is, if you want, is the scorecard for the success of your business. However, finding your true purpose, what I see with pretty often, a lot of times, is people get into business and it doesn't actually, it's like people get into a job, and it doesn't allow them to really follow their purpose, because they're in a job so that they can pay the bills. So what often happens, people get into a business, but it's there to pay the bills, and we lose our purpose and our passion for life. So, I was on the car train today, sat opposite a guy, and like I often do, is I speak to strangers, and just said to him, "Hey, bud, what do you do?" Simple question. He said, "I'm an engineer in the day." And what immediately that told me is, I'm an engineer by day, but I do a whole lot of other things at night because I don't really enjoy what I do at day. That was my sort of assumption out of it. And I said to him, "So I'm hazarding a guess that there's something else that you'd love to do, and it's not being an engineer." He said, "Yes, well, engineering pays the bills, so I do it, but I'd love to just do photography full time." You see, the reality is this: is he actually just doesn't know how to follow his passion and turn photography into something that makes money. It's taking the risk, it's stepping out. But if he were to really follow that passion of photography over a period of time, that would fuel his life. So it's finding what is it that you want to do. And, when you get up in the morning, does it excite you? I do not have a doubt in my mind that teaching people and growing people and working with people to see them change is my purpose in life. I'm very clear on that. And my energy, I can go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and have to get up at 6 and run a seminar. And as soon as I'm in that seminar, I come alive. So whereas when I sit down to do my accounts in my business, that is definitely not my purpose. So I have people in my team whose purpose that is, and it fuels them. It's their passion. So I don't know if that answers that, Marlon, but a lot of times I think people know deep down in their heart that there's something that really drives them, but it's getting through the fears of actually really being able to go out and do that. And on the other side, it's using the business, as a tool. Yeah, I'm not saying quit your business, but the reality is this: is how do you use the business you have as a tool to serve the purpose that you have? So maybe your purpose is, feeding the homeless. Maybe your purpose is to I don't know, build houses. Maybe your purpose is to create a different type of education. Well, how do you use your business to be able to create that type of impact to allow you to create that sort of difference? If that makes sense, Marlon.
It does. So, and I mean, it actually leads in a bit to what Abdallah's asking, because he's like saying, what if it was making money initially, and you are in a business that pushes you out of your core values? And it kind of leads into what you were saying also earlier.
Yeah, Abdallah, for me, that's very simple. Is if it's pushing you out of your core values, well, then you shouldn't. For me, I'm not going to say you shouldn't do it. If I'm getting pushed out of my core values, I'm out of there. I don't do it, because then I'm out of flow. And when I'm clear on my core values, I'm very clear on my core values in terms of what we do. If that impacts my core values, the answer is pretty simple. I don't do it. I shouldn't do it. That's it. And people say to me, "Well, you don't understand." No, I do. I do understand. I've done business throughout Africa for 25 years. I do understand. And you decide what the core values are. So I'm not making anyone right or wrong. I just know that at times I could have done deals where I would have compromised my core values. Haven't done them, walked away. And I've always learned that. I'll give an example. When I first started this business 12 years ago, I'd been going for not even a year, and I closed. At that stage, I had 2 full-time clients. One client was paying me $7,500 a month. The other was paying me $3,500 a month, and I was really learning, the business coaching training business, and I was helping them in their sales, and I was selling other stuff in order to bring stuff in, and I was approached by this woman to come in and build a sales team. And the deal that I struck with her was 30,000 Rand a month to build a sales team. That was nearly 3 times more than I was bringing in from my other 2 clients in my coaching and training business. And I started working for her. And after 3 weeks, I sat down with her to get an idea of her long-term plan. And what she said to me is, I'm actually not interested in being here long-term. I have X amount of stock that I want to move in the next 12 months, and I'm leaving the country. That's the game. Now, in my core values is building sustainable long-term businesses. So what I was going to do was build a short-term business. And she's not wrong if that's what she wanted to do. So it wasn't about making her wrong. It was just about me making a clear decision on my values. I walked in the next day and I said, I'm afraid I can't continue working with you. People around me said, you're mad, just do it for a couple of months. Do it. I said, it compromises my values. Within 3 weeks, I had 3 clients that were paying me that amount for less time, and it grew from there. So when you create those core values, and I right up front, part of my purpose, and I knew it, was to help build entrepreneurs. So if that makes any sense, so you can get really, really deep into this piece and work through it. Level says, running a business consumes a large portion of our lives. Being passionate and choosing a purposeful business means our lives are then consumed by passion and purpose. Yeah. And how do you use your business to fuel that passion and purpose? So next step. Are you guys getting value out of this? Excellent. So the great comment from Nomfuzo, which says, that's such a useful insight. I'm hearing decision-making is about sourcing wisdom from one's core values. Nomfuzo, my belief today is one of our biggest problems is people forego their core values and their core purpose for material wants and gains, because they believe that it's the material wants and gains which essentially have zero intrinsic value. But in this world today, people have put so much value on material things, believing that it's intrinsic, where it has no intrinsic value. The intrinsic value is in me, is in you, is in us as people, in order to create the opportunity and that we have within ourselves. So and really that for me is what we need to be doing as entrepreneurs is growing growing ourselves, because that's where future potential really comes from. So moving on from purpose, now we're getting into this sort of nitty-gritty of the business. But as Nomfuzo says, for me, purpose and core values, the deep things, really define the shoulds, the shouldn'ts, and the whys, make defining what you're going to do in your business much easier, or much simpler. So the next step really is determining what is your target. So where are you playing? Where are you going? Where do you want to be? So this is about, your target is about, where do you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years? So, where does that business want to be? So where do you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years? What are the key capabilities that you need to focus on? So it's creating clarity in a 3 to 5 year time space. Where is it that you want your business to be? So, if I just, I'm just finding it here. If, at Uncovering Greatness in our business, we're really clear on what we want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years. And you know, if I look at our we've got a 3-year focus. If I look at our 3-year focus, so one of our goals that leads to our mission is I'll talk about it just now, but our big goal in the next 10 years is to impact 1 million entrepreneurs in Africa through Uncovering Greatness events. Now, you just have to do the numbers. What you'll work out is that me on my own, Barry by himself, will not be able to train 1 million people in the next 10 years. I can run an event a month for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. But when I'm talking the training that we do, the impact training in terms of how we do it and what we do, just by the sheer numbers, what I need a team of trainers that are going to be able to do this. And I'm very clear on that. And that's part of my role, and my goal is to teach and train trainers how we teach and train. So a key thrust and a capability and in part of our target in the next 3 years is to develop 30 trainers in the Blair Singer Training Academy in Africa. So you'll see what that does is that's part of our goal of having 100 trainers in the next 10 years. But if we have 30, when we go down to the smaller goals, 1 year and below, you'll see that links in there. So what is it that you want to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years? What is it that you want in terms of revenue? Where are you going to play? What market are you going to play in? Are you going to play in your region? Are you going to play in your local town? Wherever it might be, what is the target market that you're going to play in, and where do you want to take your business to? Then we get into goals. Goals are the what. You know, I'm pretty sure all of you have done goal setting. We've got an understanding of goal setting, the importance of why we need goals, and really the goals are come down to what is it that you want to achieve this year. So these are the whats. So when I take our strategic plan back, you know, from this our 3-year window, and I take it back to a year. Our goal for this year, for 2019, is to build the BSTA certification base in South Africa to 20 trainers. So 20 trainers that are part of our certification base. Now, it takes 18 to 24 months to become certified. So we currently have 12 trainers that are going through our certification program. Our goal is to get another 8 trainers that are going to work with us this year. And that means we'll have 20 by the middle of this year. We'll have 12 trainers that are certified. And that means that we'll have another 8 that will be going through the program. And can you see how I start building it up from there? So what is it that you want to achieve in this coming year, in this financial year? So that will move you towards your target. From goals, we go to actions. Because, you know, for me, all of these things, goals, targets, purpose, core values, these are all nice, pretty things. These are great. Yes, they add huge value, but you can spend hours and hours and hours and hours putting these things down. But if you don't get to this next piece, because this is really what business is about. This is what sales is about. This is what business is about. Business is an action game. If you don't get to this piece, all those things are just nice words on a piece of paper. How many of you get that? My experience is there's too many people out there that are talking too much. They're writing too many things down, but they're not getting to this piece. They're not taking the action. You know, when in doubt, we have a saying in our code of honor that says, when in doubt, take action. I don't know about you, I'm in doubt a lot, but I fix that doubt when I get out and take action. You know, when people say to me, what should I do? I say, well, I don't know. What do you think I should do? Well, I could do this. Good, go do it. See what happens. So this is, for me, this is the key. This is the key point. This is the piece that really makes the difference between people that are going to build successful businesses and people that are going to have a business that will bumble along. And these actions are measured on a quarter basis. So as you can see, as we're going up the triangle, our time space is getting smaller and smaller. Forever, the life of the leader, 3 to 5 years, yearly, quarterly. So actions, how are you going to get these things done? What are the key deliverables for the month, for the quarter that support your 1 year goal? Then you get into a schedule. What's the schedule? The schedule's when. This is every week. When is somebody going to do something? When is it going to happen? So the when and the schedule supports the actions. The actions support the what, or the yearly goals. The yearly goals support the 3 to 5 year target. So when are the actions? The hows. How are you going to complete the things? These become weekly priorities. So go back to Abdullah. Can you see how we're going to create clarity and focus out of breaking it down into key things? Now, this is not a to-do list of 5,000 things. This is a very clear, short list, 4 or 5 key things that need to be accomplished in a week that serve the actions that need to be accomplished in a quarter. And then we get to accountability. This, if you want, is the Holy Grail. Because often we get out, we do actions, we have a nice schedule, but if you're anything like me, we don't hold ourselves accountable enough. We don't kick our butt hard enough. So you got to hold yourself accountable. So the deal is, if it's just you, well, maybe you're the who. If you have a team and you're building a team, well, it's you and the rest of the team. So who is going to do what, when, every single day? So in sales, you know, if your goal for the year is to get 100 new customers, if one of your actions in the first quarter is to get 20 new customers, well, what do you have to do every week? Well, you got to make some cold calls. You got to make some phone calls. What do you have to do every day? Boom, 10 phone calls. That's it, every single day. So what happens in the strategic plan is when you get it done, you drive the accountability at a day-to-day level. When you drive it at a day-to-day level, it supports everything else that comes through. 10 calls. I watch people in sales. They know that they need to make calls, but they fail over here. They don't do it every day. So you get it down to this level. You manage at this level of actions, some key actions, 2 or 3 key actions that you do on a day-to-day basis, and that'll drive everything else. Is this making sense? Is this adding value to you guys? So who's accountable to ensure the actions are completed? And one person must have accountability to ensure the task is done. You create a champion for that particular task. And if they have to work with the rest of the team, that's great. You get the team's buy-in, they get the team's buy-in, and they drive it. But you have one person who's responsible for it, and that allows you to be able to create the move from there. So it's any questions or comments before I move into the next piece? Okay, so let's move on. So this is a template that comes off Gazelles. You can go into www.gazelles.com. You'll be able to find some strategic plans. Go down, download one, start working on it. However, before you do that, what I am going to encourage you to do is, before you go and get lost in the outline of this template, focus on the wording that I'm going to take you through and get that right first. Because this is what I've learned, is a lot of people will go and download this and get lost in trying to change this rather than focusing on getting the meat done first. Okay, so I don't know about you, when I watch a chef cook, the template is the plate and the garnish, because that's what makes it all look nice. But it's really the food, the meat, that's the most important part. They focus on the cooking. Once they got all the cooking done, then they take out the nice plate, take out the garnish, put the food on and get it done. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. Some of you have the tendency, you've already started downloading this and you're looking at it on Google. Stop. Go through the process. Write down code of honor, core values. Get those written down. What's your mission? Spend time on that. You know, I have an A4 notebook that I use for our strategy for this year. My whole strategy was written down on paper first before I went and put it into a template. So this template should outline and give you a much clearer picture of what I'm talking about now. So you start off with core values. What are your core values and your beliefs? You list those things down. As it says there, what's the should and shouldn't? So what are your core values? Step number 1. So over this week and over the next week, or the next webinar, I'm going to take you through both steps of filling this out. This week is about getting to the 3 to 5 years, or this webinar is about getting into the 3 to 5 years. We'll get to the 1 year in the next webinar. So the link is let me type it in for you, www.gazelles.com. www.gazelles.com. So, core values, as I said, like the 10 Commandments, code of honor, set of rules that determine how we should or should not behave. So you start writing down your core values, developing your code of honor. If you want to learn more about a code of honor, get a hold of us. We can take you through a code of honor program. If you want to learn more about a code of honor at our next Sales and Leadership Mastery program, which is happening in April, I do a lot of work in that program around developing a code of honor and setting the right context and rules. Or if you'd like, you can get hold of Blair's book, The ABCs of Building Championship Teams, read up on that, and start developing a code of honor in your business. So, step number 1, get your core values and beliefs down. Spend some time doing this. If you think you have them, go back to them, review them, have a look at them. Okay. Step 2. This is big picture. Who's on your team? Okay. Who right now is on your team? Not necessarily who works for you, but who's on your team. So, for example, on the Uncovering Greatness team, I don't have anyone other than myself and my wife who I employ in our business, but we have a team of 12 people that are consistently involved in Uncovering Greatness. They all own their own businesses, but they fully involved in the business. And this is my day-to-day team that I work with and that I write in when it comes to team. Second part of this, who are your key partners? Well, here we go back. So the second part of your team is who are your key partners. So at Uncovering Greatness, our key partners are Robert Kiyosaki and the Rich Dad Organization, a company called PureSense in our entrepreneurial development space, the Blair Singer Training Academy, the Global Blair Singer Training Academy, where I work with Blair on developing trainers, and then the Blair Singer Training Academy in Africa, which is a side of our business where we develop trainers in Africa. So those are our key partners. And then I have what I term minor partners, partners that are important in the scope of what we do, but they're not a core element to the day-to-day operating in our business. When I say minor, it's not as though they're insignificant, but they play a role in our business in certain areas. So write those down and get some clarity on those, because once you start writing down and getting an idea of who's on your team, that gives you clarity on 1, who is on your team, and 2, who do you need on your team. So step number 3, purpose. Why are you in the business? What's the heart in your business? What's your mission? Spend some time getting this down. Read up on mission. Find out about mission. You know, a really great book that I love is it's called 8 Military Laws. I don't know if some of you might have read it. It's called 8 Lessons in Military Leadership for Entrepreneurs. Really great book. It's by Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about really the laws in military, things like code, mission code, honor, and how they apply as an entrepreneur. It's a really great book to read to help you solidify some of this stuff. Okay, so spend some time getting your why down. Write it down. Okay, what are your actions to live by? So these are 5 actions. So what are the actions that will take that you will take in order to live your purpose, to live out your values? So this is going to take getting your mind around. So these actions are linked to your values and your purpose. So let me set a little bit of context to you around this, around the Uncovering Greatness Code of Honor, for example. So our mission is to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape in South Africa and Africa. So our actions to live, to achieve our values and our purpose. 1, to develop a strong team of master teachers and trainers. Now, if we want to make a significant impact on the entrepreneurial landscape, we need to have a strong team of master teachers and trainers. Okay? 2, teach and equip others to teach and train. Now, not all teaching and training businesses are really interested in equipping other people to teach and train their staff, and that's okay. But in our world, the more people we teach and equip, the more we can create the impact that we want to create. So can you see how the actions that we need to take are starting to link to our mission? In our business, everything and everyone sells, always be selling. We're a sales-driven organization. This organization is built on sales. I've been in sales for over 25 years. One of the core skills that I teach in one of our top programs, flagship programs, is Sales and Leadership Mastery. So everyone in our organization knows that we're a sales-driven organization. So when you come in, that is a to-live action. Always be selling. Another live action is always do more for the highest value to the most amount of people. So in everything that we're doing, one of the values that we live is this: how are we adding more value to the most amount of people, rather than how are we just doing something for ourselves? The 5th one is uphold and live the Uncovering Greatness Code of Honor. So can you see how these are bigger actions that create a link to our mission and our purpose? Any questions around that?
Debbie.
So Debbie says, Barry, when creating your mission, it helps to be precise. But is there a limit to the number of words you're using? Debbie, I have a very simple philosophy around mission. Keep it simple, to the point, so that everyone can remember it and say it. So the Rich Dad mission, to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. Man, that is to the point. Our mission might even be a little bit long: to make a significant positive impact on the entrepreneurial landscape in South Africa and Africa. Okay? So, but for me, the shorter, the more concise, the better it is. I don't really believe that more is better. Okay, great. So yeah, Leslie, the website is Gazelle's. You go to Gazelle's website, and if you follow the strategic planning thing, they'll take you to some of their strategic planning tools. You can download them for free. Okay, so next part. What is your brand promise? So what is a brand promise? What is your brand promise your customers? When you walk in there, what is it that you're promising them? What is it you're promising to deliver to them? So our brand promise at Uncovering Greatness is to be in exchange in all dealings and to deliver way more value than promised. So in any of our events, in any of our dealings, in our webinars, what we want to make sure at all times that we are always in exchange. Now, if you're unsure of what exchange means, exchange is a principle of life. Exchange is true in all cases. You're either in exchange or you're out of exchange. If you're out of exchange, it means you're either getting more than you should and someone else is getting less, or somebody else is getting more than they should and you're getting less, and you'll get it out of balance. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are in exchange in all our dealings, internally in our team, with our customers, that at Uncovering Greatness, when you see the brand, the one thing that you'll say is, wow, those guys are in exchange. I got real value and I gave real value back. So you might think, well, how do you give real value back? Well, one way is you pay for courses, okay? So you're in exchange. Two, when you come to a course, you participate, you give everything that you have, you stick it out, and you come out the other side a little bit different to what you went in. Boom. You're now creating exchange because you're allowing us to deliver and add value, if that makes sense. The second part, to deliver way more value than promised. You know, when we're talking to clients and to customers, I really want people to be able to say, wow, I got a lot more value than what I expected. Boom, we're on brand. You know, I could quickly ask you, how many of you know companies that you could think of immediately that have these nice little slogans with a brand promise, but you just know that that is not what they deliver? How does it make you feel about them? So give this some time. What is your brand promise, and how does that apply? Next step. This comes out of Jim Collins' work, you know, Jim Collins was one of his first books that really got him into, I suppose, stardom. Was From Good to Great. Really good book. And Jim Collins talks about what he calls a big, hairy, audacious goal. You know, it could be called a big, scary, audacious goal, but it is a goal that is so big. Blair explains it this way. It's a goal that it is so big that it's impossible for you to do it by yourself. Impossible for you to do it by yourself. So our big, hairy, audacious goal for the next 10 years is to teach, train, and positively impact 1 million entrepreneurs through Uncovering Greatness events by 2029. That, you know, for me, it's impossible for me to do that on my own. And it creates a whole lot of other spin-offs, building trainers, being on mission. So, you know, read up. If you go online, you can read up on Big Hairy Audacious Goal, on Gazelles. Vern Harnish talks more about Big Hairy Audacious Goal. Read up about it. Set yourself a big, hairy, audacious goal. The other power of this gives your team something to buy into. You know, when I talk to the Uncovering Greatness team and I say, guys, in the next 10 years, by 2029, we are going to impact 1 million entrepreneurs through our events. It scares the crap out of them, but it excites them like hell. And it's like, wow, see, we got something to work towards, something that's just way more than making money. Now I know this. If we positively impact 1 million entrepreneurs, if we're in exchange in all dealings and we deliver way more value than promised, money will not be a problem in our business. How many of you understand that? If our focus is to make another $1 million this month or this week, well, we may or may not deliver. But if we get those things right and we do that and we focus on doing that, the money will come. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments so far? While you're typing, let's move on. So, step 4, your targets. Where do you want your business to be in 3 to 5 years? These are big key thrusts and capabilities. These are what we call the big rocks. Okay, so these are big rocks. What are your key thrusts and capabilities that you need to develop? So for us to achieve our 10-year goal, for example, to achieve the 1 million entrepreneurs, I've talked about trainers. One of the key thrusts is to develop 30 trainers through our BSTA Africa connection in the next 3 years. Okay, that 30 trainers will start taking us to the next level. Number 2, grow and establish the Uncovering Greatness connection with Rich Dad. So we over the last decade built a really great relationship with Robert Kiyosaki and with Blair Singer, and what we teach, that the teaching of financial literacy is critical to making a positive impact on entrepreneurs to create sustainable, significant businesses. So can you see what are those key thrusts that are going to allow you to be able to support the big, hairy, audacious goal, the mission, and the 3-year action in terms of driving revenues? So you start setting those targets, and Then you go, so what market do you intend to play in? Vern Harnish calls it the sandbox, or for us, it's a sand pit. But what market do you want to play in? Do you want to play in South Africa, in Africa, in Joburg, in Cape Town, wherever it may be? That's your choice. You do not have to build a global business. You can build a highly successful business in Pofadder if that's where you are, if that's where your mission and your goal is. So be clear on the sandbox that you're going to play in, where you're going to play in the next 3 to 5 years. That's going to allow you to be able to achieve your big, hairy, audacious goal, to achieve your mission. So what market do you intend to play in? What are your quantifiable targets, your numbers? So your key thrusts and capabilities, those have numbers. What are the numbers in terms of revenue, profit, driving? Sales and business are number games. You've got to understand, you've got to drive the numbers. Those of you that have been to any of my events, you know that I'm not an accountant, but I'm always talking numbers. You've got to understand numbers in business. You'll notice, develop 30 trainers. Okay, so it's 30 trainers. So when you go through our strategic plan, you'll see all the way through, there's some specific numbers. Numbers are measurable. If you can't quantify it, if you can't measure it, you can't change it, you can't grow it. So you've got to put the numbers in. So that is where we're going to stop for this evening, getting you to 3 to 5 years. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to encourage you to work on this piece. It's as I think Leslie, who said it? Oh, Brian said, lots to chew on. So go back, don't rush into this, take some time, write down, as I said, get an A4 piece of paper, write down, put in your code of honor. What are your core values? What are your beliefs? What are the shoulds and shouldn'ts? Mull over your mission, write down your purpose. What is it? How does it link to your business? Do your core values support it? What are the actions to live by? That'll take you some time. What are the targets for 3 to 5 years? Spend the next 2 weeks working through that. Once you do that and you've got clarity around that, the next step is I'll take you through how to drive your 1 year goals, how to link your 1 year goals to your 3 to 5 year goals, how to drive the key initiatives, and then how to create an accountability model on one page. So when you create the accountability model on one page, it allows you to move into the next level. So Leslie said, would love to watch this again. Every single one of you, Marlon will send out a recording so you can go back and watch it anytime you want. Any questions or comments before we start wrapping up? If you got value tonight, please just type in got value, enjoyed it, worthwhile. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to tell you about a couple of things that we have coming up. We have what we call an Awaken Your Financial Genius intro event coming up on Marlon the 15th of February. It's a Friday evening, if I have it right. 15th of February in Joburg. It's a Friday evening. It's a 3-hour session around, exactly that. It's a program we run, which I have developed over the last 18 to 24 months with Robert Kiyosaki, called Awaken Your Financial Genius. It is an intro program to why the rich get rich and the poor and the middle class stay poor. And we'll introduce you to, after that, we run a 10-module program, which starts on the 18th of February. So that's Awaken Your Financial Genius. Marlon will, if it's okay with all of you, will email you all the details so you get that. In April, we have our first Sales and Leadership Mastery program. It is on the 5th and 6th of April. It is a 2-day event. It's Sales and Leadership Mastery. Some of you on the call have been on it. Would you mind just typing quickly in the chat box whether you got value out of that and it's worth someone coming to? Marina says, if I could take myself as serious as I take everyone else's business, I'd be far. Got true value. Thank you for that. So yeah, that's so that's the Sales and Leadership Mastery program. The Awaken Your Financial Genius program leads into a program that I'm running in May with Robert Kiyosaki. I will have Robert out here for a 6-day event, and it is very unique. It'll be a small room of 100 to 120 people. It is an unbelievably unique opportunity to spend 6 days in a room with someone, in my opinion, who I deem to be probably one of the top financial and entrepreneurial teachers on this planet. Has an incredible way of teaching, has an incredible way of driving home accountability. And yeah, just, one of the biggest blessings that I've had in my life, especially in the last 24 months, is being able to work directly and very closely with Robert. So, yeah, super excited to have him coming out for that. He will be out here in person teaching that program with me. And so that program is in May, and it is over 6 days. Those of you, how many of you would be interested in spending 6 days with Robert Kiyosaki in a room? And the program is called Get Real, because that's exactly what it's about. It is about getting real with your business, getting real with your life, getting real with your relationships that are linked to your business, getting real with your taxes, getting real with your money. How many of you realize that there's a lot of people out there that are fake? We talk too much, we don't do it. And so it's a 6-day program. It's 6 days over 8 days. And then following on that program, I'll be running 3 one-day mastermind sessions for the whole group of people who come on that 6-day program. So it's 9 days. It is one of the prerequisites is you have to complete the Awaken Your Financial Genius 10-module program. It's a prerequisite for being able to get in that program. So those of you that are interested, let us know. Would love to take you through that. Like I say, we have a maximum of seats, 120 people. Want it to be a small, very sort of personal room. So that's what's coming up in the world of uncovering greatness. Marlon it does an amazing job at keeping people informed. Would love to see you guys on our next webinar, which is on the last Tuesday of February. And so I'm also going to encourage you, if you guys got value to this, please pass it on to other people. As you know, it's free. And in the next session, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks time, I'll be going through the second part of the strategic plan, helping you build a goals, 1-year goals, and setting accountability. So, any questions or comments before I finish off? Otherwise, Marlon, over to you.
Thanks, Barry. So yes, we'll be back on the 26th of February. You will be notified. And yeah, I hope everyone, I got immense value out of this, even though I was in that room when Barry was sharing how to actually build this one-page strategy with the team and helping us just go through what Uncovering Greatness is about and about to do this year. So I know I got huge value out of this, and it gave me even bigger context in terms of how to fill this out even better for my business. So I'm glad that I'm reading some of the things here, and I'm saying, I think Barbara asked Barry about a core values program. Core values?
So we run a code of honor program. I don't have anything scheduled at the moment, but it's a program that we could set up and could run. Again, once we come out of the sales and leadership program and out of Get Real, it'll be a great program to run to teach people how to set up their own code of honor.
Yep. So thank you very much, everyone. This recording will be available on the Uncovering Greatness website. Please feel free to share this with others. The link will go out to all of you. So then, you can forward that link on to others as well, and perhaps they can also get value out of this. Appreciate all of your time. And if you still have any questions after this, feel free to email me at Marlon Uncovering Greatness, and I'll feed that down to Barry into the team. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you all on the 26th. Yeah, have a great evening.
Bye, guys. Thanks,
Bye.
Marlon. Great job.
Thank you, Larry.
Chat to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, bye. Cheers, bye.
Bye.